Why is it so difficult for iPhone users to switch to Android smartphone, and is quite easier for Android users to switch to Apple tech products? So in this video, I'm going to be talking about these things, why it's very difficult for iPhone users to switch to Android phone. If you have been able to try this, let us know in the comment section. Let us know what was your experience switching from an iPhone to Android. And if you have someone that have switched from Android to iPhone, also let us know at the comment section. So without further ado, let's dive into today's video. One of the difficult parts is the ecosystem of an iPhone. Is easier for iPhone users, that those that have used iPhone for so long, to be able to stay on iPhone, but it's difficult for them to switch to Android simply because of the ecosystem. iPhone ecosystem, which is the iOS, is quite easier for them to drop files and do a whole lot of things because the ecosystem is very easier for them to operate compared to Android. For Android, is very vast because at times you find this difficult to be able to move some files or do one or two things with your Android phone. So for iPhone, it's very easier for them to be able to move from their iPhone to their iPad and their iPad to their PC. So you can see that the ecosystem of the iPhone is quite easier to operate once you are someone that has been using iPhone for so long. But for Android users, Android phones are so many, because we have the Samsung, we have the Google Pixel, and a whole lot. These Android device, their ecosystem is quite different from each other. So at times, once you're someone that is used to the Apple ecosystem, it's quite difficult for you to switch to Android, because it's like you have to go back to school to be able to learn all these things afresh, to be able to understand the ins and the outs of these tech products. Now, Android offers multitude of customization, which if you're someone that is used to the iOS system of the Apple, is quite difficult for you to switch into the Android system, because some of the people which I know that uses the Android, the main reason why they like the Android is because of its simplicity. And same thing with the Apple users. Some of them said that the Apple system is quite simpler for them to operate. But many iPhone users have invested years in learning the iOS ecosystem to be able to understand the iPhone, and now for them to now switch to Android is somehow challenging, because they are used to the whole system of operating their iPhone, in which is quite easier for them. But for Android users, it's very easier for them. They can easily switch, but once they switch to iPhone, it's quite difficult for them to switch back to Android. That's one of the problems. Another thing is the fact that Apple has a passionate community, whereby for many, living Apple is like living a trusted partner. So some of the things is the fact that when you get addicted to using the Apple phone, it's quite difficult for you to switch to an Android. It's very challenging, because I've come across a whole lot of people that find it difficult to switch from an iPhone to an Android phone. It doesn't matter the kind of Android phone, either a Google Pixel, a Samsung, or anyone in which you're thinking of. Once you get addicted to the Apple ecosystem, it's quite difficult for you to switch to an Android phone. So the question is, can an iPhone user switch to an Android phone? The answer is absolutely yes. It is possible, but it takes time, patience, and willingness to embrace change. Change is something constant, but somehow it's difficult for you to be able to embrace change unless you give it time. So change is something in which we all can't deny. We all need to face change. So if you're someone that find it difficult moving or transitioning to change, it might be difficult for you to switch from iPhone to Android.